I've spent the last few years testing a bunch of different vagus nerve stimulators, but the two most popular VNS devices I was most interested in comparing were Pulsetto versus Truvaga. Both of these brands position themselves as a safe and effective way to improve stress, anxiety, sleep, chronic pain, and more, all from the comfort of home. But do Pulsetto and Truvaga actually live up to the hype, or can one of them actually do more harm than good? And which one, if either, is the better choice to buy? Let's find out. First, let me talk nerdy to you for just a minute. I promise I'll be quick and it'll be worth it. So when I first learned about vagus nerve stimulation, I was pretty skeptical because the claim is that these devices can send gentle electrical impulses through the skin to stimulate the largest parasympathetic nerve in our body, the vagus nerve, which can supposedly improve vagal tone over time, making it easier for our body to switch into rest and digest mode, helping us to feel less anxious, less stressed, able to sleep better. You get the idea. Now, to me, this all sounded a little too good to be true, maybe even a little pseudo-scientific, but I still wanted to give it a fair chance, so I did some research. What initially convinced me to at least try Truvaga and Pulsetto myself was how absolutely fanatical people who regularly practice vagus nerve stimulation seem to be. Next time you're bored, ideally after watching this YouTube video, hop into one of the many Facebook groups about vagus nerve stimulation and you'll see what I mean. There are just thousands upon thousands of people swearing that vagus nerve stimulation has helped them with all kinds of issues I hadn't even considered. Like, I was expecting sleep and anxiety, but these people are talking about help with epilepsy, depression, chronic pain, you name it. And I guess this does kind of make sense because vagus nerve stimulation has been around since 1997 as an FDA-approved treatment method for issues like epilepsy and depression. The biggest difference being back then, vagus nerve stimulators needed to be surgically implanted like a pacemaker. And nowadays, thank God, we can skip going under the knife and just hold the device like Pulsetto or Truvaga against our skin for a few minutes. Way easier if it works. But that begs the question, does transcutaneous vagus nerve stimulation, or stimulation through the skin, actually still work? Is it still effective? Well, it might depend on which device you choose, so it's probably a good time to mention if you decide to buy either Pulsetto or Truvaga, I'll drop some links down below that'll keep updated with the best current deals on both, and using those links will also help support the channel, which I always appreciate. These vagus nerve stimulators have a lot in common, but they also have some pretty big differences. Both devices work pretty much the same way. You apply a small amount of electrogel or conductive spray to your neck, right around where you'd normally feel for your pulse. Then you connect to the app and choose a goal like sleep, mood, or stress, and an intensity from 1 to 10. And finally, you either hold Truvaga against your neck or wear Pulsetto around your neck for a few minutes until the session is over, ideally doing this about twice per day. The steps and app for Truvaga and Pulsetto are both basically the same. I find them both super easy to use without any hassle. The biggest difference between these two devices, other than price, is how you use them. Truvaga being held and stimulating the vagus nerve from one side of the neck, and Pulsetto being worn and stimulating the vagus nerve from both sides. And while I do have some complaints about both brands, my overall experience with them has been mostly positive. One of the biggest benefits people report from both Pulsetto and Truvaga are an improved heart rate variability, or HRV score. Now, I track all of those metrics on myself daily and would love to show you some crazy high HRV score from these things, but if I'm being totally honest, which I always try to be with you guys, my HRV is always high. I've learned a lot of mental health coping skills over the years, and I try to treat my body as well as I can, so it's hard for me to say definitively how much of this is thanks to vagus nerve stimulation and how much of it is thanks to all the other things I do. Instead, the biggest benefit I've seen from vagus nerve stimulation is actually a really weird one. So I've never had issues with sleep, but I do have a hard time getting my ass out of bed in the morning, and for some reason I've noticed that with both Pulsetto and Truvaga, when I use them before bed, I wake up ready to get out of bed in the morning. I don't hit snooze on my alarm clock quite as often. In fact, I often wake up a few minutes before my alarm goes off, just kind of like ready to get up. So I don't know if it's been helping me with a better circadian rhythm or what, but it's been pretty consistent when I use VNS. This is obviously very anecdotal and you might have a totally different experience, but that's the most honest benefit I can share from personal experience. That's the thing that for me has made me feel like, Okay, these odd little mini tasers are actually doing something here. But in the interest of full transparency, both of these brands do something that I don't like. Truvaga sells two different models. I've got the Truvaga Plus here, but the brand actually started with a model called Truvaga 350. That model is still for sale and it's a bit cheaper, but it's not rechargeable. It's cleared to work for 350 sessions and then it becomes a useless paperweight. I'm gonna be honest, I hate that design or that business model. It's very subscription-y to me, so I won't be recommending it. Fortunately, the Truvaga Plus, the one I bought here, can be recharged and used as often as you need. So that's the one I would go for. Pulsetto, on the other hand, well, I've seen some of their ads and I think they sometimes take some real liberties with the scope of benefits from vagus nerve stimulation. Like, yeah, technically less stress can lead to less stress eating, but that doesn't make Pulsetto a weight loss device, you know? They've already got a good product, so why milk it? But ultimately, I was impressed with both Pulsetto and Truvaga. I think either one would be an easy and effective way to practice vagus nerve stimulation at home. But you definitely don't need to buy both of them. So I think there's a really easy way to determine which of these two devices, Truvaga or Pulsetto, would be a better choice for you personally. And again, if you decide to buy either of these devices, I'll drop some links down below with the best deal to either one, and using those links will help support the channel, which I always appreciate. So I wish I had a bigger mic drop for you guys, but if I'm keeping it 110% real here, the biggest difference is whether you want to hold the device against your neck or wear it around your neck. Seriously. I find myself slightly preferring Pulsetto just because I like to have my hands free so I can multitask rather than making vagus nerve stimulation this boring, dedicated chore. But everything else is just so damn similar between the two devices. Of course, there is also the price difference to consider. Both devices retail for around $500, but Pulsetto usually has some pretty big sales that knock a few $100s off, so it's usually about half the cost and the more affordable of the two. Of course, if you're not totally sure just yet which one is right for you, I do have full reviews up of both devices right here. So go ahead and give them a little clicky to get a closer look at either one before you buy. Pulsetto or Truvaga? Pulsetto, Truvaga. Yeah, just give them a little clicky, that's good.